Okay, America, welcome to another episode of Cha Cha's Thought of the Week. You know what it is. I'm always in the building. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So before I get into that, let me just say this is the season finale for my Thought of the Week. So I'll be back in a couple of weeks with new and fresh thoughts of the week. Hopefully they'll be able to enhance you and just put something on your mind. And I hope that for all you listeners out there that I was able to uplift you because my thought of the weeks are always about uplifting and putting something on your mind and hopefully transforming you just to be a better person as I have tried to be in my lifetime and in my walk. So today's thought of the week is about empathy. Empathy is putting yourself in someone else's shoes. And I think that's important because, once again, like I always say, you never know what the next person is going through. So we sometimes we have to be empathetic, and sometimes we can make it about us. Sometimes we if somebody tells us that hurt my feelings, or I'm struggling with this or I'm struggling with that. Sometimes we have a way of saying, man up, or it wasn't that bad. Oh, you that hurt your feelings. If we say, that bothered me, we can have a way of saying, just because that was not our intent, that we just disregarded. And so we don't have the right to be that person. We don't have the right to tell someone how they should feel when we've said something to them just because our intent was not to hurt them. And let me give you an example. So let's just say that I put my hand down on a table, and when I put my hand on the table very gently, right? Just normal, just lay it flat on the table. And you hear me yell at the top of my voice, like ouch, just ouch at the top of my voice. And I don't shake my hand, I don't shake my wrist, I don't shake anything. So you don't know what's hurting me, right? And you look at me and you say, that shouldn't have hurt you. That shouldn't have hurt you. All you did was just put your hand on the table. Well, see, you don't have the right to say that because you don't know the story behind that. Maybe before I walked into the room, before you saw me, I may have slammed my hand in the door. And you didn't know that. I didn't make it a big deal. I dealt with it before I came into the room with you. So you didn't have a right. You don't have a right to tell me that shouldn't hurt me because you don't know the backstory. And that's where I'm going with this. Just because you feel like that what you said shouldn't have hurt them, you don't know, because what you said to them could have been all it took to finally just push them over the edge. Yeah, it might have been something minor to you, and maybe on a good day minor to them as well. But you don't know what they've been going through, that like this old rap song used to go, don't push me because I'm close to the edge. Don't push me cause I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head. So in saying that, we just don't know. And the best way for us to deal with that and to be better people is just to say, you know what, okay, because every person deals with life differently. What you say to one person and how you say it, you might not be able to say it the same way to the next person. So it's all about growing and evolving and being able to communicate with love in your heart. And if you have love in your heart, then you'll be okay with saying, okay, well, I apologize. I apologize. I didn't mean to hurt your feelings. Don't belittle them. Don't call them soft. Don't call them weak. Don't call them this, that, and the third. Just be the bigger person and walk in their shoes, because you just don't know. You don't know. And it's okay to apologize and be the bigger person and say, well, that was not my intent, but I do apologize. As a matter of fact, you can say, well, do you want to talk about it, or is there anything I can do to help you or whatever? But don't make it about you. Put your ego aside. Put your ego aside and be able to be that person that tries to bring somebody out of whatever they're going through. because it might not even been something that happened yesterday. It may not have been something that happened a week ago, a month ago, a year ago. It could be something within them that they've dealt with for years, and they just do not know how to shed it. They don't know how to let it go. They've never had anybody to go to talk about it. They haven't had the ability to go to someone and talk about it. And you could be that person. You could be the first person that could, finally bring them out of that funk that they've been carrying, and or whatever issue that they've been carrying for years upon years upon years. So once again, I say, America, sometimes we just need to be empathetic towards somebody's situation, because sometimes it can sting when somebody says you hurt my feelings, because now that's a dart thrown at you that you were never prepared for. Because maybe that you're that person that says, that's just not me. I don't go around hurting people's feelings. That's just not who I am. And you just, if that hurts your feelings, then, you need to man up, because life is way harder than that. Well, maybe it is, but that's not for you to say. That's not for you to say, because you don't know their story. You don't know you haven't walked in their shoes. You haven't been, and that's where the empathy comes in. Put yourself in their shoes, because I'm sure there's been a time where somebody said something to you and it hurt your feelings. Now, you might have kept it inside and carried it, and then chose to deal with that person differently when all you had to do was just speak up and let them know, and even say why it bothers you. And when you do, you could, just say it with love in your heart, so it doesn't become a back and forth. And hopefully that person would have been empathetic to your situation. And so the whole key to this is to have empathy, and not only have empathy, America, but when someone is opening up to you and they're sharing some of them with you, just listen with love in your heart. Listen with love in your heart, because that can go a long way to their healing. And that's my final thought of the week for this season, America. And I'll talk to you soon. Peace.